In this video, I'll show you how to use JMP to find binomial probabilities. Throughout this video, I'll be referencing the restaurant survey example, where we intended to take a survey of 20 households in an area where we're assuming that 40% of the adults are committed to eating healthy when dining out. Now, to construct a binomial probability distribution in JMP, we need to enter in the possible values of x into our first column. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to label this column x and then click OK. And in this example, the possible values of x would range from 0 to 20 because we could have anywhere from 0 households to 20 households responding that they do in fact want to eat healthy when dining out to this survey. So you can start by typing in 0, 1, 2, and you can type in all the way to 20, but if you're looking for a shortcut, what you can do is highlight these first three values and then right click and choose to fill, and we want to continue the sequence, right? So JMP understands we're going up by 1 each time, and we want to continue it to a specific row. So if we want our x values to range from 0 to 20, that's actually going to take 21 rows. So I would type in 21, click OK, and now it has the values from 0 to 20 filled in to this first column in JMP. Now my second column is where I'm going to put in the probabilities, binomial probabilities for each of these values of x. So I'll label this column P of x. And then JMP can also have the capability of filling in the probabilities that are cumulative, so the probability of x taking on that particular value or something less. So I'm going to go ahead and title another column cumulative probabilities, and that's where I'm going to put these cumulative probabilities into. Alright, so let's start with the probability for each x value using the binomial distribution. So you'll want to highlight this P of x column, then go to the Calls menu and select the Formula option. Okay, then when this screen comes up, this is where I'm going to be typing my formula. Okay. So the particular formula that I want to use is the binomial probability formula. It's located here under this discrete probability section. And there's actually one called binomial distribution and one called a binomial probability and one called a binomial quantile, which we won't use, but we'll use binomial distribution and binomial probability. Now if you forget which one's which, it does have a little description there to help let you know. So we see with the binomial distribution, this is going to be our cumulative function because it's going to give us the probability of being equal to that value or less than. Whereas with the binomial probability, it just says it returns the probability a binomially distributed random variable is equal to a particular value k. So that's the one I'm going to want to use first, binomial probability. And then I need to type in the population proportion, or the probability that we're given, which is going to be p, so that'll be 0.4. And then n, so in this example, the value of n was 20, so I just need to click in here and type 20. And then for k, so this is like my x value. So what I'm going to do to get all the probabilities for all values of x at once is click in this cell, come over here, and under my columns menu, I'm going to select the x column. So that tells it that I want to know the binomial probabilities for every value of x. And to get nicer output, I like to round my probabilities to 4 decimal places. So I'm going to highlight this entire formula just by clicking on it. And then come over here again to numeric and select round. And then I want to round it to 4 decimals. And then when I click OK, this column is going to fill in with the binomial probability. So this tells me, for example, the probability that x equals 2 is equal to 0.0031. The probability that x is equal to 3 is 0.0123, and so on and so forth. Now, I can also get the cumulative probabilities by going back to this columns formula menu And this time, the formula I'm going to choose is that first one, which gives me the probability that the binomial variable is less than or equal to whatever value we feed it. In this case, we're going to feed it an entire column full of values. So the p is still going to be 0.4, n is still going to be 20, and now k, again, is still going to be my x column. And I'm going to, again, want to round. I'll go to 4 decimal places. Then when I click OK, now I see I've got my cumulative probabilities. So you can see, for example, the probability of x being less than or equal to 2 is taking the probability that x is equal to 2, added to it, x equals 1, added to it, x equals 0. So it's just the cumulative probability is going to be the probability that x is the value in that row or anything less. So that's how you can use JMP to give you binomial probabilities as well as cumulative binomial probabilities.